Good evening, everybody. This is your host, Folk, and welcome back to another episode of the Channel 256 News brought to you by Bitcoin Mining World. The date is September 26th. Bitcoin currently hovering just above $109,000 at $109,339, peaking today a little over the $110,000 mark at $110,311 in the last 7 days, down from 115,000, so down about $6,000 where we're sitting at the current moment. Looking back at the monthly chart, not so bad. Only really only down about 2 grand. It things seem really scary. Apologize for not uploading yesterday. Had to take a minute to do a little bit more research on the markets to see if there were any moves that I felt like it was the right decision for me to make. Currently, where we're sitting, I truly believe the best option is just to hold on and ride this thing out and see what's going on. But these are some scary times. We're at such a pivotal moment, as we've been talking about over the last couple weeks. We'll touch on that a little bit more here in a moment. But before we go any further, I want to give a quick shout out to our event that we'll be hosting on the Bitcoin Mining World Happy Hour event in Irving, Texas. If you guys want to come out, it's going to be a little after party for the Mining Disrupt conference, the same week that the conference is out there. If you guys want to come out, there's going to be tons of pubcos. There's going to be tons of miners, mine operators, people that have been in the industry for as long as the industry's been around. So if you want to come out, network, meet some new like-minded individuals, I've got a link in the description below where you guys can come to this site and RSVP. First 200 people to join. It is free. We expect a huge turnout. Previous years that we've done this event, we've had close to 1,000 people coming up. So it's a huge event. If any of you guys are interested, check the link below. It'll be highlighted. Checking out the Bitcoin net hash rate. Not looking too bad, but down below is at a hash. People are unplugging this. Price is going down. It was a little warm this week, but definitely not enough to spike up curtailment. So definitely has to do with price. People having to unplug old hardware. Looking at the price per petahash, just for some confluence on the network hash rate, down below $49 to $48.88 per petahash. Miners are not making as much as they were just a month ago. Looking down at the monthly, making close to $7 less per petahash, which might not sound like a lot, but trust me, that's a good amount. That's 7,000 every exahash per day. It adds up quick, especially when we're pushing the zettahash on our net hash rate. Finally got a little bit of life to open up in traditional finance. The Dow Jones up 40 points in the last 5 days, but today we were up 300 points, about 0.65%. Still managing to close the week in the green. NASDAQ was not able to, however, down about 0.5% this week. S&P 500 able to close the day in the green as well, but also down here on the weekly chart. However, the big one that we've been paying the most attention to, the Russell, it was able to get up just about 1% today to end up closing just a point above the 2021 all-time high. Scary stuff. That seeing this today has given me way more confidence in what's going to be happening over the next couple weeks. Really curious to see. I mean, taking a look over here at the futures market, it's continued on in after hours up to 24.49. Hopefully this continues on Sunday at 7 p.m. Central. We'll be able to check back in when the markets open back up, see how everybody's feeling. But we've had lots of good positive economic data coming out. I think the big scare on Wednesday was the positive economic data coming out, signaling that the Fed may not end up cutting rates because there wouldn't be as good of an argument for a rate cut, which the markets did not like, especially over in crypto. You can see that's when we took our big move over here. So, man, I've been in this market for 5 years now, and this is the scaredest that I've been. I've waited a long time to hopefully get to the top of a market cycle. I do expect to take profits, and where we're sitting at right now, it may be a good time to make some defensive plays. I know we highlighted the other day, popular chart analyst, blockchain backer, he took a third off of the table. Either this is the capitulation that we've all been waiting for right before the last jump, which it more than likely is just the last thing to fear. Being able to see the Dow close in the green today was nice. Seeing the Russell close in the green was nice. However, down 0.5%, but we're still over that $2,400 level and just literal points away from the points that are the resistance levels that we've been trying to break out of for the last 4 years now. Price moves like this take a while. The S&P, Dow, and the Nasdaq all struggled a lot to get out of their all-time high. The Russell, it is weird behavior. Normally, it doesn't struggle this hard, but it also hasn't taken this long to happen. This goes with market cycles and business cycles stretching out. There's been a lot of people thinking that this run could stretch into first and maybe even second quarter of 26, like Raoul Paul, another very reputable chart analyst. I believe he ran Goldman Sachs for quite a while. I believe he was the CEO or CFO or something of Goldman Sachs there for a while. So somebody with a lot of market experience. He's somebody who goes off the M2 global money supply. I mean, M2 global is at an all-time high right now. I really think we've still got the best ahead of us. However, I did need to take yesterday to get my thoughts together on this. Apologize if I'm not getting them out properly. However, currently no moves have been made on my end. I will inform everybody when I do make some moves. Not like this is financial advice, just to keep you guys up to date with what I'm doing. I like being transparent as I'm making these videos. Over here from the Bitcoin magazine, cool little story. We got OnRamp launches institutional Bitcoin custody platform with global multi-sig security. Multi-sig security is awesome, especially when it's global. That's more than one party having to authenticate every single transaction that's going through. So, I mean, if you've got a whole bunch of coins stored, it's almost a must to at least have an two-factor bare minimum, a two-factor app through your phone, like Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, something like that. But having a separate device completely from your ledger that not even connected to the internet, that you can have, that it truly is the best way to have your two-factor setup. Yeah, like I was saying, the ones on your phone that you can get or on your desktop, they work. But if you can get a third-party device separate from the internet that you can have, if you're storing a lot of coin, if you're not splitting it across multiple wallets, it would be a smart decision, in my opinion. Over here from the block, we've got Kraken to raise $500 million at a $15 billion valuation. Huge numbers. Exchanges are going huge. I'm sure this will be a very successful IPO. We'll watch it as it happens. Hopefully it'll be coming out in the next couple months so they can keep riding this market cycle. Kraken's been in the space for quite a while, been a good player for Bitcoin, big supporter of Bitcoin, getting up there in the White House, talking to the Prezi. Really no complaints. Finally, after the SEC dropped that ridiculous lawsuit as well, of course, after not dropped it, but finally ended litigation against them and freed up some of those grasps after they settled for what, like 40 million or something ridiculous. We're gonna end off the week here, guys. It's been a crazy week. We'll finish it with doing our nightly refresh, seeing which way the price is moving. It looks like it's up a little bit from where we just refreshed it up to 109,666. We'll see what happens over the weekend, guys. Hopefully, we can continue to see some positive price action coming there with how the futures markets were looking. It's everything. The Nasdaq futures markets are up. We're looking good. Maybe I'm just saying it out loud for self-comfort, but hopefully this does continue throughout the weekend and when we regroup on Monday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that noti bell so you'll always be notified when we're uploading new content and going live. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.